Hi, host Eric here. I was talking to famous people. We're going to do an Eric's Bullshit Translation episode. Specifically, two terms we're going to translate. The first one is ontological violence. I'm going to give it a quick definition. It's pretty straightforward. Basically, it's condemning aspects of a person's identity and condemning the person for aspects of their identity rather than their behavior. And examples are people who hate different groups, like "you're a fag" is ontological violence, or but there's also like I fucking hate ESTPs. They're so stupid. It's ontological violence. So when I say that kind of shit about ESTPs, as I do lately, because I don't know, I'm just on that kick, I'm committing the ontological violence I say one ought not commit.
You are
Who's it?
fucking
Was that
7
Kara?
miles.
Wait, let me see the picture. See, I love pictures like this.
I would post it, but it's so sexist and shit.
I
So
love
can't,
that.
But like, isn't that a great picture?
I,
It's
I love to see.
it's not
I love to see
just
people filling out these shirts. That's great, Cameron.
I thought you'd appreciate it.
I do.
that was a nice 8 mile move you just did there
uh,
with your example.
oh, was it? Was it an example of what?
EST, ESTP. You knew I was about to call you out on ontological violence.
Oh, yeah. Well, I actually, that it wasn't like I wasn't sweeping there. I knew going in I was going to use the ESP as an example of my own ontological violence because there aren't very many of them out there. In fact, a lot of things I rail about when I rant and shit, it boils down to I believe that your argument fundamentally is just a shrouded example of ontological violence. So when people talk about, oh, it's really important to eat healthy, what they really say is, I don't like fat people. When people say, oh, it's really important we blah, 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 they mean, I don't like people who don't blah, 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 blah. The thing is, if you're talking about behaviors, it's a different matter than if you're talking about identity matters. So if I say, I don't like the fact that you hit me, that's not ontological violence. If you say, I don't like people who are violent and physically violent against me for no reason, that's not ontological violence. The group label has to be an identity that has attributes beyond a single behavioral attribute and be imposed by someone upon another. So if I were to be like, Audra, listen, you can't dance. You're white. Okay? We know you're white, so that means you can't dance. It means you lynch black people every day and that you deserve to be put in jail. That would be an example of ontological violence. Because, yeah, well, I know, Audra's pretty fucked up. I agree. Uh, what with her daily lynchings is the worst part, I think.
Can I ask a question about ontological violence?
You may ask as many questions as you wish.
Now you bringing it up makes me think I was guilty of ontological violence with my ex-girlfriend saying, yes, you should eat healthily. And to be sort of strict, yeah, she was trying to lose weight. I didn't tell her to do that, but yes, we should eat healthy sometimes. My current girlfriend has to eat healthy for a health reason. So I tell her, yeah, we need to eat healthy. I say the same words to the same relationship person, but with one, it was more like ontological violence.
To eat healthily is kind of like to sleep with great wakefulness. It's not possible. Eating implies that you're eating something necessarily that has food value to it, and all things that have food value are health equivalent.
Stop. TE interjection.
Fine. Enough said. You got it. You win. My bad.
Flag on the play.
My bad. Let's move on to the second term unless there's any questions about ontological violence.
Yeah.
And you said my TE wasn't awesome.
It's great when it's TE about other people.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I have no self-control.
All right, so let's go to the second term. The second term is metaphysical equity, a term I use a lot. And I think I started thinking about the term when I started watching Antiques Roadshow a long time ago. And I realized that what most of the value comes from is the story. So people, when they buy a cool old object, what they're really buying is a cool story more than anything else. Yet this is the very chair that Thomas Jefferson peed on when he had bladder control problems in 1796 in Williamsburg. That smell is his pee.
Do you still watch it?
No, I haven't watched it in a long time. I don't watch TV anymore.
Because of this?
Well, because I don't drink. I stopped watching TV when I stopped drinking. Alcohol made it possible
I
for
was
me to watch and enjoy TV. It was one of the main reasons I drank so much.
going to ask what was involved in Antiques Roadhouse for you, and it's alcohol. That's the answer.
Yeah, I was so chill that I really
What
enjoyed
happened to
watching
the
it.
Taylor?
Neptune, call
What
us.
happened to the TE?
It's happening right now. I was just saying, Eric, shut up about answering my question.
Okay, great.
There you
So,
go.
metaphysical equity then is the idea that it's more than just that, though. It's like we each have metaphysical equity in talking with famous people because we participated in it and we're here. We're a part of the thing itself. We're each of us is a component of this idea, but it's more than just an idea. It's like, what exactly is talking with famous people is a question that nobody seems to really be able to answer. But the real answer is it's a composite of all our combined metaphysical equity such that our activities that have been directed towards this and produced measurable outcomes in the world, either by being recorded or by having some impact that someone else noted. So, like, let's say it wasn't on a video, but you did something really super useful that caused the channel to get $10,000 or something. Well, you'd have shitloads of metaphysical equity, and you'd probably get some of the actual equity too, because I try to be as fair as possible with things. But the point is, you wouldn't have had anything that's documented on video, but it would be documented with my SI. That's the weakest way to get metaphysical equity around here, is to get it through my SI. The best way to get metaphysical equity is to do what we are doing, which is, you guys talking here, whether I'm here or not, and gaining metaphysical equity with each other. So if this thing ever were to level up in terms of broadness of audience, and the supply of available seats here outstripped demand consistently, and there was a demand even for some sort of waiting list or something like that. If that were to ever happen, then metaphysical equity would be important in terms of positioning hierarchy, which would be necessary at that point, until at least we could scale up, right? And I'm not sure if it's scalable. I'm not sure how scalable it is. So there's a lot of different concerns here, which metaphysical equity becomes a deciding factor in the thing. Like I was saying, the cryptocurrency aspect of the artifacts market is that right now nobody understands it, but right now you guys are all in golden position because you can mine Bitcoin really easily, which means you can put an artifact in the marketplace easy. You just gotta mail me something, I'm like, it's in, and it'll go up there pretty soon when I get around to putting it up there. Eventually, if it works, then people will be very much want to get an artifact in, and I won't accept very many of them, and that way the quality of the actual things that are being sold increases, and it will allow the amount of storytelling around the things to go down. See, I already have sold one of my crappy little drawings. I'm probably the worst drawer here, right? It's just it's like a stick figure guy doing something, I don't know. And there's no way in hell, under normal circumstances, I could possibly sell that thing for any money at all. I'd probably have to give someone $1 to take it away from me. But
Why aren't you making? You should make bongs.
I don't
You should make bongs.
Physical object-y. I don't like physical object shit.
You cut with wood up.
That's different.
No, it's not.
I only do it every once in a while when I feel the need to get SE on me. I need to get some SE on me. I go and I play with concrete, I play with the wood, or whatever, something like that. But the point is,
making bonds.
Metaphysical equity is hugely important and hugely non-understood by anybody, because we're all dealing with it all the time, but we don't have a term for the general thing that we're talking about. Namely, it's what they do in political capital, they call it, right? In politics, political capital. But there's a life capital thing called metaphysical equity that ideally is cumulative, that you don't have to spend. When you spend it, it doesn't go down, it goes up. So, the inclusivity is the best way to maximize the impacts of each of our metaphysical equities, because as they collide with each other, they make more metaphysical equity. So it's like, and the thing is, it doesn't go away either. Let's say you stop coming here all of a sudden, Carolyn, and I see you again. I still have this chunk of your life as part of this project, and so you'll always be sort of attached to it a little bit. You'll be like, you'll remember 10 years down the road, you'll be like, oh yeah, there's that video of me from way back when. When someone asks you, do you have any videos of you for a long time ago? What were you like 10 years ago? I wish I knew. Oh, Carolyn, it's so nice meeting you. I wish I could know what you were like 10 years ago. And then you go, oh, well, actually, there's a video of me talking. You can see it. It's like that thing is long tail, slow spread. long tail mold infestation, you know? And it's done through the mechanism, the engine of metaphysical equity. Questions, comments, concerns, queries, complaints about the metaphysical equity issue?
You should make bongs.
I have a functioning bong. I don't need another bong.
For the marketplace.
Oh yeah, well that's true. Cameron was talking about a bong design earlier, because he saw the thing I started making a bong with before, and he's like, "Oh, you can totally make a bong with this." And I was like, "I know." I got 1.5 steps into it, and then it got too hard, and I was like, "Yeah," and went and bought one.
Everybody needs a Cameron.
Okay, you know, yeah, Cameron's great. Cameron's freaking great. Not yet, but I am going to, Neptune. It's still right here. I'm going to mail that. I'm going to mail some things to Taylor that I want to mail him. Those are 2 things I was going to mail.
I get something to do.
Oh, yeah, go on in there. Oh, go. He's in the bedroom. I forgot. I should do that. Is it mail? No, I'm not going to do it. I'll do it tomorrow morning. For reals, though. It may take me a few days, but I do get around to shit. I mailed Cato's shirt. It took me like less than a week after I said, I'm going to do it tomorrow like 5 times, and I finally mailed it. So it definitely...
You're in an open package. The flap wasn't even closed on the package he mailed me. It was wide open, and both shirts made it.
Oh, it's because I closed it with a magic spell instead of using the glue part.
It says you wrote Yaylor on them. Yaylor. You wrote it was addressed to Yaylor.
That's how I cast the spell. That plus I crossed my fingers as well. You have to cross your fingers with shit like that, or it never works.
Strong Yaylorian magic. that finger crossing is. Don't use that shit willy nilly. And pinky promises too.
Yeah, pinky promises. That's like the nuclear weapon.